OpenAI shocked everyone yesterday with their rushed release of GPT 5.2, previously codenamed Garlic. We'd been expecting this release, but maybe it was going to take a few more weeks or early into the new year, but it has arrived. And it's their answer to Gemini 3, which put the company on red alert and has rushed forward this release. And according to OpenAI, it's a massive step forward and now hopes to supersede Gemini 3 in reasoning, thinking, and coding tasks. The real interesting one is how it performs in knowledge work tasks and its win rate versus industry professionals, supposedly hitting over 70% in either beating or tying in tasks with industry professionals. So it suggests that this is now not just a single task assistant, but actually it can perform expert professional workflows with human oversight, which is what we're going to test today. Now, there's all sorts of things that OpenAI have shown its improvements in terms of its ability for workforce planning and project management. Plus, in coding, it sets a new state-of-the-art standard as well. And they've shown us some fun use cases or tests here of an ocean wave simulator, a holiday card builder, and typing in the rain game. But I want to do some of my own tests, some things that have previously been not possible, not close to being possible with ChatGPT, and some other things. We'll compare them to the 5.1 mode as well, just to see that bar of improvement across different actual useful categories. So the first thing I wanted to do is actually be able to process, analyze, and output a serious amount of data. Now, for me, that's going to be thousands of keywords for SEO that I need analyzed and clustered and put into the right areas to build us an SEO topical map. I've tried doing this in the past with ChatGPT and it's really not come out well. I've got this prompt here, you're a senior SEO specialist, etc. What I'm going to give it, thousands of keywords, and a description of the business. This is for an email marketing agency. Essentially, I want it to work in different blocks of doing the initial interpretation, doing the analysis, and then sorting and building a plan before giving me everything back in a tidy spreadsheet. It's failed horribly at doing this sort of thing in the past. Now I'm going to add my files in here. And of course, at the top left here, we need to make sure we've got the 5.2 thinking mode on. You'll still be able to access legacy models in the right-hand side here, which we will do in a second for a direct comparison. And I would expect this to take quite a while, 20 minutes, half an hour maybe, to actually fully do this analysis, build it, and put it out into a spreadsheet. And you can see it's off and running, thinking, doing its initial analysis and clustering work. Now, as I said, it did take quite a while. One of the things you'll be able to see on the top right here is the percentage of how far it thinks it is through a task as it goes. But you can see all the different thoughts it went through to get to this initial output. So we can pick any of these and start looking at actually the process it's going through and each decision it's making along the way to build the output. But basically, we needed to get all the data out of the spreadsheet, analyze it, and give me something back. And it's pushed it back in a CSV file for me, which we can download. Now, the first thing to say here is it looks busy. We've got two different pages in the bottom here, and it's kind of a bit of a mess to understand, but it looks like, roughly speaking, it's done what we wanted in terms of mapping keywords to particular pages. But this was this just isn't usable for me. So I wanted to actually test it even further to see, could we give it a template of how I actually like my keyword pillars to be laid out, which is something more like this, where I have a main overarching keyword, several more for that page that we're going to target, and then all the data to the right here. So this is much easier to pick things out from and understand where we're going. So I gave ChatGPT that template, and in another 5 minutes, it came back, and this is what we got. It looks messy again, but this is the main roadmap. But actually, if we click into different pages here, for example, here in the platforms and tools section of the content we need to produce, that it's put it into different pages at the bottom here, which is really nice. That's each page of this is a different subject we'll be covering on our SEO blog. We've got, for example, HubSpot email marketing is the main title or angle of the page, and then we've got all the keywords that we're going to target in that page along with the data and monthly searches there. So actually, from my perspective, it looks like a lot of data, but this is actually really handy and pretty close to what I would want to build if I was doing it manually. Now, to most people, that might look like a bit of a mess of a spreadsheet. They don't really understand what's going on there. So I wanted ChatGPT to help me out further in presenting this back to the client, creating a 5-page PowerPoint slide deck that I can present an overview of the strategy and opportunity to the client. And it took 15 minutes, to be fair. Like, it took its time to make this, which I don't mind at all. but this was the output we got. And it's really impressive. Like, this is a massive step forward. Okay, it's not branded or anything, but it's a really neat and tidy presentation. Maybe too much information in here, but we've got the general overview of high priorities, opportunity, 388 monthly searches, areas we'll cover. Then it's built out these really nice graphs of like key planned clusters and URLs and where the work is going to get done. It's built out a nice visual map. Okay, it's not perfect. We might need to tweak these slightly, but we've got a visual map of the different areas of content we're chasing. And we've got this, I like this donut chart here that's top of funnel pages 53. We've got middle of funnel pages 37 and bottom of funnel pages 18, middle of funnel 37. So that's a really clear visual breakdown. And then it's got how we win and prove it, the success metrics, and some of the deliverables over the first 30 to 45 days. So that's actually pretty bang on in terms of an overview of, like, in some circumstances, if I tidied up this page, I could probably get away with presenting that. So very impressive from 5.2. Now I want to run a quick test against 5.1 next, and I just want to see if its copywriting ability has improved at all. So I'm going to give it an email and generate 10 subject lines and opening hook ideas that fit my content and tone of email, with a few constraints in there that I want. So this second screen is on 5.1, this first screen is on 5.2. Now, ironically, this email was from my recent email newsletter that was about, if you could only choose one AI platform, which would it be? And at that point, it was probably Gemini 3 Pro. And then ChatGPT have gone and released this. So you can see the sort of opening gambit is about, if I could only afford to use one AI platform, which would I choose? So we'll send both those off to run and see what they come back with. So for this side-by-side comparison, 5.2 on the left, 5.1 on the right. Now, interesting, they put different formats out. I didn't quite specify how I wanted to format them to come out. 5.1's got it all neat and tidy. 5.2's got the list followed of subject lines, followed by the opening hook ideas. If I only had to pick one subscription, no regrets. This AI stack is getting silly. My honest pick after testing versus if I could only keep one AI, the one AI I'd keep if money was tight. The problem with having too many AIs, like, they're pretty similar. I wouldn't say any of them are like crazy, amazing, better than the other. Maybe 5.2 has got a bit more creative in there. The cancel most of them answer. The AI stack is getting silly. So maybe it is just a touch better, but not massively different in terms of short opening lines. The opening hooks, I'm paying for too many AI tools. So I ran that if I can only keep one test. I bounce between X, Y, and Z. That ends today. If you're drowning in subscriptions, this email I wish I'd sent me sooner. I didn't expect to say this, but my latest side-by-side testing changed my default tool. I had to cancel every AI subscription but one. If my budget got slashed tomorrow, I'm juggling 4 AI platforms every day. If I was forced to pick a single winner, I'd say 5.2's come out with something a little more punchy and less wordy than 5.1. But honestly, again, this upgrade is probably more about thinking and coding than its potential copywriting ability. So unless you had extra constraints in there, I'm not seeing really much difference in the quality between the two models in terms of these short, punchy copywriting tasks. So let's actually test out some of these coding abilities then. We'll pop in my coding prompt here, again on the left and the right. Make sure right has got 5.1 thinking this time. And what I want to test it against is, you're a senior front-end engineer and UI implementer. I'm going to upload a screenshot of a web page, and your job is to rebuild an interactive web page that matches the screenshot's layout. So I'm just actually going to grab some screenshots of this website that I quite like, that has some like moving features in here, some dials, that makes a really nice agency service website, basically. And so we'll paste them straight into both these context windows and set them off and running to see, is there any difference in the actual job they're going to do here? So interestingly, 5.1 has got off and coding quicker, while we've got 5.2 is still analyzing and working things out. I wonder if that will be reflected in just slower or a better final product. Okay, so 5.1 has actually finished first on the right here. So we'll jump into a quick preview that on here. And do you know what? It's actually done a decent job. It's done a really nice job. We've got the buttons working here. I'll actually pull this up full screen so we can see it a bit better initially. We've got a really nice site here, actually. We've got the book now and order buttons work nicely. It's noted the change between USD and GBP button and actually flicks between it on the two areas there. Honestly, GPT-1's done a great job here. Like, I've struggled to get it to do this clear stuff in the past from just screenshots, but you got to say, like, that's a pretty damn good attempt and a good website outline to get running. Whereas 5.2 still running. Okay, so 5.2 on the left has finally finished. It took so much longer to actually write. It looks like it's written a lot more code, to be fair. One annoying thing about 5.2, I couldn't get it to run it in an artifact on the right here, or sorry, a canvas that I could actually hit preview and just run the code. I tried a couple times and it just wouldn't do it for some reason. So we can obviously hit preview over here. 5.2 wouldn't do that, even though we're running exactly the same prompts and stuff. The quality, it took a lot longer. How much better is it? This was 5.1's was nice, but compared to 5.2, you got to say it just has that extra little bit. Like, it took longer because it was doing more. It's got a little bit more layout on the page. It's just gone up that next few percent to be almost what looks like a professionally finished website now rather than a prototype. Little overrun there, but that's fine. The pricing badges here, they work nicely as well, except just a little more refined. The dials here, just a little smoother, a little more refined. Everything lines up. And then in the bottom here, we do have this nice examples and case studies slider as well, which we didn't get on the other one. It was just a black page with text on it. And we got a little bit more flow in the bottom here when we've actually rendered this page, versus this one is nice. It's a little more flatter and just a little bit more basic in terms of the user experience. So there is a definite like upgrade in the amount of code and the amount of quality coming out of 5.2 there. It is just that bit more refined. Now, I just want to do a comparison against a graphic test I ran the other day, and I was getting frustrated with ChatGPT image generation. What I've done is I've uploaded a file of my CV that I've downloaded off LinkedIn and asked it to create a fun career map of me using the Star Wars theme, include irrelevant allusions, and write all text clearly and legibly. Now, we'll run that here. I'll just turn image mode on as well and let that run. On the right hand side here, you can see 5.1 the other day. It didn't really do a great job. It's not a great infographic. There's spelling errors and just little problems throughout here that I don't really like. I couldn't really use this. I know it's a bit of fun, but like for professional graphics, it's slow. It's been quite slow recently, and you know, it's always filled with these spelling errors, which is really frustrating. So again, it's going to be pulling out information from my CV, putting it into the timeline, and hopefully building us a nice image. Again, image generation is still slower than competitors like Gemini at the moment and Nano Banana, but let's see what we're pulling out. Okay, so it's come back and it said the image generation did not follow our content policy despite doing the whole image. So I'll see if I can go it again, because it looked like it was about to produce something. Okay, so interestingly here, it's needed to avoid copywriting. So the original image avoided copyrighted characters and logos. I'll use metaphors. Finally, I think we've actually got somewhere. Having it with thinking mode on as well was like textbook overthinking this to try and get a result. It was getting itself right twisted, but we've actually got a result here now. And I can't say I'm particularly impressed with that now. Certainly, actually, compared to what we had on 5.1 here, the design, I could take it or leave it either way. And we've got spelling errors in there as well that don't make sense. This is complete garbage, to be honest with you. Honestly, for those longer analysis and reasoning tasks of spreadsheets and step-by-step processes, is definitely a step up. Like, it nailed that SEO research and planning, and even putting it into that PowerPoint slide was awesome that I wasn't able to do on ChatGPT before. The coding took longer, but definitely a step up in the quality of result there as well. Just those extra 1%ers everywhere. The everyday tasks and image generation, I'm not seeing much change there. If anything, a little bit frustrating in some areas. But as an aid to most industry professionals in their processes, this is moving the needle forward as claimed by OpenAI.